out here. Hey, we're supposed to be having a special premiere to honor our champions. Mr. Bean, what are you doing? Okay, all right, let's start with you dancing then, and then we'll jump into the rest of it. Yeah. Wait a second, that's not, yeah, get in there, that's your girl. Yeah, ha ha! Uh-oh. Ha 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 ha! Attaboy. Aww. Ah, there's an idea. Yeah. All right, Mr. Bean, that was a good intro. I'll admit it. That was cool. That was super cool. But let's change it up now. Let's change it up, okay? Let's put on our traditional victory music to acknowledge our champions! Yeah. Come on now. That's right, we got more champions that have taken a step out of the shadows and have stepped into the light and said, yeah, count me in. Count me in. I want to be a part of this special cow country fundraiser to help out our friends down in South Bend, Indiana. Yeah. These are my champions right here. And the whole gang has come out to say, hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. All right, let's get some lights on. All right, I'm gonna come off the tripod so we can see these champions up close and personal. And look at this, the whole gang. I mean, the whole gang is out here. You got Dr. Singer, his niece and nephew, Mr. Bean. That was a great intro. I really like that. That was cool, man. That was totally cool. Yeah, Reggie White. Who is that? Not that he needs an introduction. The captain, the singer repair guy, the pirate, Herr Obermeister. Umi, good to see you. Konnichiwa, o genki desu ka? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad that everybody came out. And this new friend of ours that came to the workshop, by way of Emma from Florida, said, Scott, when I watch you on camera, when I watch you in the premieres, I see your everlasting youthful nature, your playfulness. And I always think of you like Peter Pan. So Emma dropped Peter Pan in the mail to me. And now Peter Pan has a special place of honor. Let me show you real quick before we go over to our champions. He's got a special place of honor right here by our playroom sign. This is his place right here. And you notice it's opened up so that he can come and go as he pleases. Because, hey, it's Peter Pan, for goodness sakes. And then my good friend Ross from the great state of Michigan sent me these super cool cars. This Singer car and this Foff car as well. And they also have a special place of honor now right here in the center of our playroom. Yes, it's a classroom. Yeah. It's a classroom, but you know what? It's also a playroom. And the reason that we have so many people flocking to this classroom is because we have fun here. It's just like that intro with Mr. Bean doing his thing, because that's the kind of guy that he is. It's so much fun to just break loose sometimes and just say, hey, no boundaries, just gonna have fun. Like these folks on this board of honor right here. All these folks, the first week of our fundraising effort, 12 individuals from all over the country stepped out and said, count me in. And you know what? This board is almost filled up, but you know what? I've got more boards. So if you're watching this premiere right now and you haven't donated, what's up with that? What's up with that? Seriously. If you follow my work, you love what I do, you're passionate about vintage sewing machines, then you're also passionate about causes that I believe in my heart of hearts. And that is stepping into the gap during this pandemic and saying, we will not let the South Bend History Museum fall onto that list with the 30% plus museums across the country that have closed their doors permanently. And all 12 of these individuals, all of these champions, all of these heroes for history have stepped out of the shadows and said, count me in, count me in. I am not going to let that happen. Scott believes in this. I believe in this. And all of you are, wow. What do you think, Dr. Singer? What do you think? Those are some weird spots on your face, dude. I know it's the light. I get it. Yeah, I agree 100%. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk, right? Okay, yeah, I still haven't quite adjusted to you guys yet, but you're cool too. Mr. Bean, what do you think? Dance party? Yeah, at the end we'll dance again, I promise. We really will. Reggie? Yeah, I agree. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up for all of these heroes of history, all of these champions of history, because you know what? They made it happen, right? They made it happen. And all of our friends here are to celebrate with us because of just how amazing these folks are. Let me go from the bottom up this time. But before I do that, I'm going to zoom in on something else and show you. I talked about in the last premiere to honor our champions that I was going to come up with a certificate for our super cool 160-year-old brick. And I did it. And this is what it looks like right here. It's a special brick that I came up with that's going to go with every single, it's a special brick. It's a special certificate of authenticity for each brick that goes out that I'm going to sign. And it reads, as you can see in the shot, this certificate serves as a guarantee that the brick awarded for your donation to the Cow Country fundraiser February 1st through February 22nd, 2021, to benefit the History Museum of South Bend, Indiana, is genuine and authentic and was used in the original construction of the Singer Cabinet Factory that operated from the 1860s until 1955 in South Bend, Indiana. Thank you for supporting history. There's my really weird signature, but you know what? Whatever. Scott A. Geller, vintage sewing machine master restorer and aficionado, Cow Country Vintage Sewing Machines and Restoration. So if you've already donated like all of these champions on this board right here, then you're going to receive one of these certificates with your 160-year-old brick that Peter Pan, does he need an introduction? Peter Pan and all my other friends are safeguarding for you. And we only have a limited number of these bricks, folks. They are going fast and furious. So jump at it, get a 160-year-old brick and one of these certificate of authenticities to go along with it. Plus, you help a great organization. That's really the core of this entire initiative, is to help the History Museum in South Bend, Indiana. And also, you're going to get entered into this contest where you can win one of my unicorn, fully restored sewing machines. Again, if you're brand new to this, if you're watching this for the first time, we're doing a contest right now and a fundraiser to benefit the History Museum in South Bend, Indiana, where I had the rare opportunity to go there and visit with those folks and examine some fabulous artifacts, many of which they purchased out of their own pocket. And all of these artifacts are centered on sewing. All of these are centered on vintage sewing machines. And they believe so strongly in what we do and others around the world that the folks down at the South Bend History Museum bought a number of those artifacts that you can see in that video. I set up a playlist on my YouTube channel. Search under playlists. You're going to see my entire visit down there at the History Museum, from examining the artifacts that Christy Dunn and Kat and others pulled together for me, to touring the Oliver Mansion, Copshahome. Copshahome, again, is a small village in Scotland where J.D. Oliver came from, and the entire experience down there culminated by me having a chance to actually walk the halls of that incredible Singer sewing machine cabinet plant that, again, was down in the South Bend, Indiana area from the 1860s all the way until 1955. They, again, had an operation that was so crazy, incredible, that they were making, on average, 10,000 cabinets a day. 2 million a year. And we're not talking basic sewing cabinets, folks. We're talking pieces of art that were handcrafted, just spectacular, crazy, beautiful pieces of art, and making 10,000 a day. That just tells you how robust and how much of a heartbeat this Singer Cabinet Factory was in the South Bend, Indiana area from 1860 till about 1955. And that was the culmination of my trip. The morning I'm leaving, I haven't had a chance to get inside and see this cabinet factory. I see a guy standing over on the loading dock throwing out some trash, who turns out to be my new bud, Anthony, and he takes me through this place. You got to watch it. It's a brief walkthrough by flashlight, because there's no electricity to the Singer plant that closed back in 1955 any longer. But we had a chance to walk the same hallways that these 3,000 plus employees were buzzing around there like a beehive, making these 10,000 cabinets a day. I mean, you can't not watch it. That playlist on my YouTube channel showing my entire tour of the South Bend, Indiana area is just mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And because of the warmth and the hospitality of those incredible folks down there, I just felt inspired that I wanted to do something. When this YouTube channel hit 10,000 subscribers, I wanted to do something special. So that, to catch you up, if you're brand new to all this and you're going, what's the big hoopla? That's what the hoopla is about. We're doing a fundraiser. You can donate $100 to the History Museum. It's so simple to do it. All of these folks have already gotten it done. They've already done it. And they could tell you, it's as easy as falling off a log. It's so simple. It's so easy. And I'm going to grab that number and show that number to you again so you can do that. But first of all, as I catch my breath, literally, I want to showcase some of the brand new champions that have stepped under the shadows. They've stepped out of the shadows into the light, and they said, count me in. Like my good friend, my dear friend, love her to death, Annette Stover from Texas. She is a brand new champion for history because she said, yeah, I'm going to answer the call. Yeah, I'm a Texas girl. Yeah, we don't just talk the talk. We walk the walk. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Way to go, Annette. Well done. Well done. And you know what? It's not exclusive to Texas. I wish I could say it is. But look at my good friend Gloria Andrews from the wonderful state, the beautiful state, the peachy state of Georgia, who also stepped out of the shadows and said, yeah, Count me in, Scott. You got it, buddy. I'm behind you. I know you believe in this. I know you're passionate about it. I'm passionate about it. I'm a Georgia girl, and I'm going to, just like those Texas girls, I'm not going to just talk the talk. I'm going to walk the walk. Because I told you, Scott, I told you on Facebook, I told you on YouTube in the chat during some of the premieres when you announced this fundraiser you were going to be doing when we hit 10,000 on the YouTube channel. I told you I was going to step out of the shadows, and I'm not just a talker, I'm a walker, because I'm a Georgia girl, just like that Texas girl right down there. And we are going to make it happen for those folks down in South Bend, Indiana. We are going to make it happen for them. And you know what? I made a challenge at the last premiere. I called the California people out, and I said, where are my California people? I've done a ton of work over the years for people in the beautiful, the wonderful, the incredible state of California. Where are you guys? Where are you? Well, you know what? Louie and Sandra, who I just did an incredible restoration for on their Model A, their General Electric Model A that is en route as we speak, going back to the incredible state of California. And again, just to catch you up, if you're brand new to this channel, Louie and Sandra from the great state of California searched 10 years looking for the right person to restore their cherished heirloom Model A General Electric sewing machine. What a lot of people argue was the original featherweight. It was the featherweight before the featherweight ever was announced in 1934 at the Chicago World's Fair. This Model A came on the scene actually in the late 1920s. In its earliest form, these So Handy type featherweight style machines came on the scene 4 or 5 years before the featherweight ever danced its little dance at the Chicago World's Fair. And so when Louie and Sandra found me online and they said, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. This guy can make it happen. But will he take on this project? Because this machine has a lot of needs. Will he take it on? All the California people that are always saying, yeah, we're going to make it happen. Yeah, we're going to make it happen. They backed away from this project and retreated quicker than a hiccup. But when they reached out to me in Little Oconto, Wisconsin and said, Scott, this is what we got. Here's some pictures. Here's the challenges. Other people have said, no way, Jose. I said, yeah, send it to me. And guess what? If you look up that premiere on this YouTube channel on Louie and Sandra's Model A, their General Electric Model A, you're going to see that machine do things that will blow your mind. So let me say this. I am so impressed that Louie and Sandra were listening as my first California people. What about some of my other California people that love what I do and believe in what I do and share my passions and say, you know what, if Scott believes in something, we will follow that dude to the end of the earth. Where are all you other California people? Louie and Sandra are leading the way. Fall in ranks behind them now as a Californian and say, yeah, you can count me in. Yeah, you can count me in. And what about the other West Coast people? What about the folks that I've done work for in the great state of Oregon? What about Washington State? What about all the other states around our incredible nation? Step out of the shadows, folks, and make it happen. The History Museum folks in South Bend, Indiana need your help. They need it now. They need it now. Don't let them fall onto that list of permanently closed museums, like the 30%, quickly approaching 40% museums across the country that because of this pandemic, I got to catch my breath, because of this pandemic and because of all the craziness of what we've been going through, those museums between 30 to 40% now across the country have closed their doors permanently. And Louie and Sandra said, no, not on our watch. That's not going to happen. This is something that Scott believes in. This is something that we believe in. Same thing with Gloria from Georgia. Same thing with Annette from Texas. And let me move to my next champion that I haven't even shown you yet. My incredible friend, I call her Pam because we're tight. You know what? We're buds. But Pamela Ann from Florida is another brand new champion that stepped into this fundraiser this first week of this fundraiser and said, count me in, Scott. You believe in this, I believe in it. So Pam, love you to death. Thank you so much for becoming a brand new champion. Thank you for becoming a hero of history and saying, you know what? I believe in history. I know that these folks down in South Bend reached into their own pockets and they pulled out their own cash and said, we want to build up our vintage sewing machine artifacts, and we're going to buy stuff ourselves to add to it, and then we're going to set that stuff up so that when Scott drives all the way down to visit us, we're going to have that stuff sitting out for him to be able to go through it with us. And that's exactly what they did. And again, you can see that on that playlist on this channel for all the stuff I did when I was in South Bend, Indiana. So Pamela's a brand new champion as well. And let me revisit some of my other champions that you've already met. Because you know what? I can't sing praises loud enough and long enough to point to all these incredible heroes of history. Like Sonny from the great state of Pennsylvania. Way to go, Sonny. Again, thank you for your generosity. We've got so much uncertainty with the pandemic and everything else. And yet, Sonny and Paula Noel, is that a beautiful name or what? Is that, wow. Paula, thank you again. Thank you for stepping out of the shadows and becoming a champion for history. Again, my dear friend Emma B., who just sent me Peter Pan to the workshop, is one of our newest friends. Emma B. from Florida stepped out of the shadows and said, yeah, count me in. My dear friends, Emily and Veronica from the great state of Texas. And I'm actually working, or going to be working soon, in preparing a machine for Emily. Emily is the beautiful daughter of Veronica. And Emily, she watched one of the recent premieres, and she's really usually very quiet. She doesn't talk. She doesn't get excited. She became a bubble machine when she saw this goofy guy from Wisconsin doing his thing. And when I talked about the brick, Emily went to her mom, Veronica, and said, Mom, I want a brick. Please, please, please. And Veronica, you know, Veronica's a mom. Hey, what can you say? Get in the way of a mom? Get in the way of a Texas mom? You could have built a gauntlet. You could have built a mountain in front of that brick, and Veronica would have knocked it down for her daughter, Emily, because Emily wants a brick. Emily's going to get a brick. Not only that, Emily's going to get one of my masterpieces from this workshop as well. I'm going to be working on a FOF machine for her that she's going to be using for all kinds of fun sewing projects down in the great state of Texas. What about my buddy Brian? I didn't even mention the last time. My buddy Brian, who also donated and stepped out of the shadows and said, yeah, my buddy from the Army, who I knew at West Point Military Academy, and we used to run together, and he always ran faster than me. Don't you hate that when somebody can run faster than you, no matter how hard you try? Brian was a rabbit, and I would run 6-minute miles sometimes, and he already had his second cup of coffee and was sitting at the finish line by the time I got to the finish line running a 6-minute mile. I even ran a 5:45 mile one time when we were at the academy, and he still finished before me. But you know what? I love Brian to death. And Brian is my buddy from the Army down in Louisiana, and also has stepped into the space now and has a bunch of vintage sewing machines, and is also trying to learn the art of repairing and restoring them. So we are on speed dial, like I said in that last premiere, to honor our champions, the first one. And he's calling me all the time and saying, what is this? What is that? What do you do with that? Why is it doing this? What's going on? And so we talk through these things. I teach him as best as I can, and he is just jumping into it with both feet, along with jumping into this fundraiser with both feet as well. So again, thank you to my dear friend Brian down in Louisiana. I'm not even going to talk about this Scott guy because you already know about him. But also, I don't just like to talk about causes. I like to pay it forward. So I also, within the first days of this fundraiser, stepped into this space, gave Shelby a call and said, Shelby, I want to be a part of this too. Yeah, I'm going to do other things. I'm going to donate machines, etc. But I want to also pay it forward as well. So Shelby graciously took my donation, and so I'm a part of this as well. So it's not just talking the talk, it's walking the walk, right? Yeah, it is. My good friend, Doc Roger, who has become a dear friend of mine, he and his wife as well, who are out in New Mexico, and they take machines in their RVs. They are just rocking their world with vintage. And when I reached out to them and I asked for their help, there wasn't a pause, there wasn't a delay, there wasn't a, we'll think about it. They jumped on it like a hiccup and said, Scott, if you believe in this, we believe in this. We're going to step into your corner and support this cause because it's important to you and therefore it's important to us. How cool is that? How honoring is that? Now, all the others of you that said similar things and haven't taken that step yet, won't you join this Board of Champions, please? Won't you join this Board of Champions? Look at all these folks. In the first week of this fundraiser, 12 individuals stepped down and said, count us in. Count us in. Count us in, because it's not just that we want one of these cool bricks that Peter Pan is protecting, but we want to be a part of a cause that is greater than us. A cause that is going to protect history, a cause that is going to safeguard vintage sewing machines and preserve them as the priceless artifacts that they are. That's what these folks are down in South Bend, Indiana are all about. They are champions as well for safeguarding history. They are heroes of history. My friend Brian, my friend Christy, my friend Shelby, my friend Kat, the list goes on. My friend that is the curator of the incredible Kopscha home, Skylar down there as well. I'm just so excited. My mind is just like in meltdown right now. I am so impressed. I think I said to a couple of my friends that follow me faithfully when I was kind of chatting this, this idea of doing this fundraiser when we hit 10,000, and I said something like, you know what, if we can even raise $1,000 is a lot of money. If we can even raise $1,000 for these folks down in South Bend, that would just make my toes curl. That would make me so happy. And every one of those individuals, some of which you're looking at on this board right now, some of these champions that stepped out of the shadows already and donated, and there's room for all of you out there right now that are champions in the waiting, that are folks saying, you darn right I'm going to do this. Scott believes in this. I believe in it. But you haven't taken that step yet. We're going into the second week of the fundraiser. We're almost halfway through this fundraiser already. The door is going to be closing soon. So you got to just don't talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. Step into action, right? Step into action and make it happen like all these other champions. But all of you, when I was chatting with you early on about this idea, said, Scott, you're going to do more than $1,000 for these folks. People love you. They love what you do. They're going to step into the gap. It might not be the first week. It might not be the second week. It might be in the third week. It might be in the last hours of the fundraiser. But these folks are genuine. They're passionate. They're caring. They love what you do. They love you, Scott. And if you're passionate about something and you get behind a cause like this, they're going to make it happen. And I believe that in my heart of hearts. But I know people get busy. I know people get distracted. So it's just like all of these champions you see on this board right now, they had to pause their day. These are all busy folks. My friends from Pennsylvania, Sonny, from Florida, from Texas, from Wisconsin, from New Mexico, Louisiana, Michigan, California, Georgia. I mean, all these folks are busy. Some of these folks are career people. They're racing all the time. But they said, you know what? We sometimes have to put our life on pause for something that we believe in. We can't just say we believe. We got to prove it. That's what Scott's always saying to us. Put your money where your mouth is. And he's calling us out. Just like my friends right here, Louie and Sandra. The last time I called California out and I said, where are my California people? I've done a ton of work for California people. Louie and Sandra put a pause on their life and said, we're going to step out of the shadows. He called us out. Yeah, we're going to pay it forward. I've got so many other states that I could name that I've done work for, including Indiana. I just did an incredible restoration for Lorraine down in Indiana. And I hope Lorraine and others from the great state of Indiana, where this museum is located, will step out as well and put their life on pause and say, yeah, count me in. Count me in. I want to be a part of something bigger than me. I want to be a part of something that can make a difference, that can save a museum, that can make, can make a statement to people that museums matter. They're not just these cold, stoic places. Like I said, these are beautiful people working there doing a mission that is legacy building. It's legacy building. So please put your life on pause. Hit the pause button right now. Pick up the phone. And I'm going to grab that number for you again. Guys, I don't mean to block you. I apologize, but I'm going to put it right here. Reggie, thank you for holding that up. I know Reggie's behind it right now, holding it up, saying, Scott, it's cool to block us. It's totally cool. Because this is that important. It's that important. Okay? So please, I don't for a second doubt how much you all care. Not for a second do I doubt that. But I know that folks will get busy. Folks will get into that fast lane of life. And some of you even may be managing other challenges. I know some of the people on this board that stepped out of the shadows and put their life on pause. They've had incredible challenges in their own lives. Some have had tragedies with some folks passing away from COVID and other things like that. But they took a big, deep breath and they said, you know what? Life is tough, but I can make a difference. I can step into the light. Remember what I quoted to you recently? And I think this is a fabulous quote. And I just re-quoted it to someone recently that was struggling with something. They said, Scott, when you're on that screen, when I'm watching you in a premiere, you are a light. I get a little bit emotional about this because I just have fun. I don't think about it. I don't think about the impact that I'm bringing. I don't think about the changed lives from watching this goofy guy from Wisconsin presenting a sewing machine and doing something silly and giving them a chuckle that they otherwise would not have had, or quoting something could be that big of a difference. But apparently it is. And this person said, Scott, you are such a light. You are such a light. You bring so many people hope. You give them a sense of excitement. You give them a sense of joy. You're like a candle. You're like a candle shining your light. And I said, you know what? Sometimes I'm a candle, just like sometimes I'm a teacher, but I'm also a student. But you know what? If you can't be a candle, if you don't have a YouTube channel with over 10,000 subscribers, and you can use that as a platform to give people a sense of excitement and passion about vintage sewing machines, to give them a sense of excitement and joy about life, and a sense of hopefulness, a sense of fearlessness about living their lives spectacularly, then be a mirror and reflect that light. And that's what all of these people right here, I'm going to leave that number for a second. All of these people right here, all of these champions, all of these heroes for history, they don't necessarily have a YouTube channel with 10,000 subscribers like I'm privileged and honored to be able to do. But they are mirrors reflecting that through their generosity. They are mirrors in reflecting that light, in reflecting that hope, in reflecting that promise by giving their gift to the History Museum. They are reflecting exactly what I'm trying to reflect through this YouTube channel. How cool is that? How doggone cool is that? And you can join them on that board. This board, after the first week of fundraising, is almost filled up. But I've got more boards. Please, in this second fundraising week, join them. Join them. Step alongside of Sonny. Step alongside of Paula Noel. Step alongside of Emma B. Step alongside of Brian. Step alongside of Doc Rogers. Step alongside of Emily and Veronica. Step alongside of Roz from Michigan. Step alongside Louie and Sandra, step alongside of Gloria Andrews, step alongside of Annette Stover from Texas, step alongside of Pamela Ann from Florida, step alongside all of these people from all over the country and become a champion for history. Become a hero for history by making that donation. Please, please do it. All you have to do is pick up your phone, call 574-235-9664. You will get a beautiful receptionist. And if any of you are calling and getting that receptionist, find out what her name is and then let me know so I can acknowledge either her or him, because I know they kind of float back. Let me talk. They float back and forth between a guy and a gal that act as a receptionist there. When you call, get their name, get his name, get her name, so that I can finally mention them and acknowledge them as well, because they are the portal to get to Shelby. Shelby is handling all of the donations right now that are coming in. And from what all of you are telling me and from what I experienced myself when I donated, she is a rock star. She's a rock star! And she loves what she does, and she loves that museum, and she loves all of you for saying, yeah, I'm going to step alongside with you, Shelby. I'm going to step alongside with Brian and Christy and Kat and Skylar and all the other champions down there at the History Museum, and we are going to pay this forward. So all you got to do is first thing Monday morning after Super Bowl Sunday, no matter who wins, you can become a champion. You can become bigger than a Super Bowl champion, in my opinion, and you can do something that has lasting legacy power by paying it forward and offering a simple donation to good folks down in South Bend, Indiana. And I'm going to call out right now the folks from Indiana. I've done restorative work for a number of you in Indiana. Also your neighboring states as well. Every state you could name, I've done work at one time or another for someone in those states. And I'm not a geographical master, but you know what? Let me real quick Google a US map so I can call all of you people out in this second week of this fundraiser. US map. Give me all the states. Give me all the states. I want to call these folks out that have not stepped out of the shadows yet. Give me a map. Where's a map? Come on, put the names on it, because I don't know all the names. Come on, open it up, open it up, open it up. Where is it? There it is, there it is. All right, let me zoom in on this map, because I'm going to, hey, you know what? And this map also has Canada. Every single premier practically. Every single premier. I've got wonderful Canadian folks. Just had a wonderful Canadian gentleman on the premiere yesterday, or the day before yesterday, whatever it was, when I did that really long premiere to honor my friend Heidi from Switzerland. And there was a gentleman from Canada. So I've got a lot of Canadian friends. I want you Canadian friends to also jump into this. I'm calling out Canada right now. I am calling Canada out and saying, you want a brick? You want to help a great cause? You want to get entered into my contest to win one of my unicorn fully restored machines? Either behind door number 1, which could be a 222K, the featherweight of featherweights, the featherweight convertible, or behind door number 2 is for sure a 201-2, the Rolls-Royce of Singer sewing machines. If you want to be a part of that magic of helping an incredible organization, getting a historic 160-year-old brick, and also getting entered into a contest where you can win one of my fully restored unicorn machines, one of which could be worth somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000. Ah! Yeah, it's worth screaming about. Yeah, it is. I gotta get a drink. My voice is almost gone. And we're only going into the second week of this fundraiser. But I'm going to call all of you folks out right now. If I don't see your state, up on this board over here, if I don't see your state up on this board, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out, and I am going to issue a challenge. And I think you're up to the task. But if you don't respond, hey, people are going to wonder. People are going to wonder about those folks in that state that I've done work for, that I've done restorations for. You know what? They're going to wonder about you, and they got every reason to wonder, because talk is cheap, right? Talk is cheap. You don't just need to talk, you need to walk the walk. So let's look at this U.S. map, and also my friends to the north, my dear friends to the north in Canada. I want to, the next time I do an update, I want to be able to say that one of you from Canada called Shelby down in South Bend, Indiana, and said, hey, Scott called me out. Canadians can rock the world. We are not going to be second guessed. We are not going to have people wonder, well, do they just say they care, but they don't take action? Are they not action people? Come on, that's like the hockey capital of the world. What sport is more action driven than hockey? And that's what they do up in Canada. They love their hockey. So all the Canadians are action, passionate, caring people. So prove it. Do just like my friends from California, Louie and Sandra, and get your name, get your country up on the board. Right? Right? Yeah. So let's look at the rest of these states that are still silent, that are still in the shadows. And I'm calling you out right now. I am calling you out. My friends from Oregon, my friends from Washington State, from Nevada, from, what is that? Idaho. There we go. Idaho. From Utah, from Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma. Where are my Oklahoma people? You already know I love Oklahoma. I've done a lot of business in Oklahoma. I've helped a lot of people in Oklahoma. My buddy down there, WK, has a museum for vintage sewing machines and is going to be bringing me down and treating me like a rock star. So where are my Oklahoma people? I don't even need to talk about Texas. Texas makes it happen. They already say, hey, we're here. We're all over it. What about my Minnesota people? What about my Iowa people? What about my Missouri people? What about my Arkansas people? What about my Mississippi people? What about my Alabama people? What about my Illinois people? What about my Indiana people? My Kentucky people? My Tennessee people? Come on, Tennessee people. You guys can rock it. Let's get out there. I already got my Georgia people. What about my Carolina people? My South Carolina, my North Carolina people? What about, what is that? What about my Virginia people? My Pennsylvania people? What about my New York people? Where are my New York people? What about Maine? What about all the other ones that I'm somehow missing because my reading glasses are absolutely awful? My reading glasses, these things, I mean, you could put this on a seeing eye dog and that seeing eye dog would not be able to find its own tail. But I'm doing my best, folks. I'm doing my best to read them. But if you don't see your state, all those ones that I just named, if you don't see your state up on this board, consider yourself called out. Consider yourself called out. Seriously. So, and that doesn't mean if you're from Pennsylvania, just because Sonny has taken the lead, it doesn't mean you can't fall in the ranks behind Sonny if you're from Pennsylvania. You darn right you can. Or for that matter, Florida. We've had a number of people from Florida like Paula Noel, Emma B, Pamela Ann. Those are all my champions from Florida. Fall in ranks behind those ladies. What about some men from Florida? Are there no men in Florida that love vintage sewing machines that can say, hey, those ladies are not going to lead the way. I'm going to step into there as well. I'm going to step alongside next to those ladies from Florida and say, yeah, let's get it done. Let's get it done. What about my friends from Wisconsin? This Scott dude is the only one from Wisconsin that has stepped into the gap and has said, yeah, I'm going to make it happen for Wisconsin. Where are all my Wisconsin people? This is where Cow Country Vintage Sewing Machines and Restoration is based. Come on. I got even people right here in Oconto that follow my work. Where are all of you? Put your life on pause and make it happen. Where are all my friends in Louisiana? Brian is the only one, my buddy from West Point, that stepped into the gap so far. Join Brian if you're from Louisiana. What about Emily and Veronica and Annette Stover? Those are my only champions so far from the great state of Texas. Y'all talk about doing things big in Texas. I'll tell you one thing, I'm very grateful for Annette and very, very grateful for Emily and Veronica, but they're the only ones from the entire state of Texas that have stepped into the gap to help this incredible fundraising cause to benefit the History Museum in South Bend, Indiana. Where are my other Texans? I'm calling you out. What about California? Louie and Sandra are the only ones that have accepted the call out to step into that gap to represent California. Where are my other Californians? I've done a ton of work for my friends out in California. You need to step up and you need to walk the walk and talk the talk. Wait, reverse that. You need to not just talk the talk, you need to walk the walk. Y'all know what I meant. I sometimes flip things around a little bit, kind of like Willy Wonka. And if you don't know what I mean, you got to watch the movie Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder. It is priceless. Priceless. All right. Now I'm going to point at New Mexico. What about my friends from New Mexico? Doc Roger and his wife are the only ones that have stepped into that gap from New Mexico. Are there no other New Mexicoans? If I'm saying that right. Are there no other folks from New Mexico that believe in vintage sewing machines, that believe in protecting and preserving history? Seriously? I'm not buying it. There are other folks in New Mexico that need to step forward and be counted and add your name to this board or the next board that I set up to mark all of my champions. What about my Georgia folks? Out of that entire state of Georgia, the only champion that I have right now is Gloria Andrews. Gloria Andrews. Seriously? You're going to let Gloria carry the weight of Georgia on her shoulders because all of the rest of you are too busy to put your life on pause and to call that number and to help these folks out? I'm not buying it. I think you're better than that. I think you care more than that. I know you care more than that. It's just a matter of making it happen. What about my friends over in Michigan? The only person from the great state of Michigan that has stepped out and said, count me in, is my friend Roz. She's the only person from the entire state of Michigan that has said, count me in. My life is busy. My husband's a doctor. We are racing around. We are running faster than a two-legged dog in a digging contest. But Scott, you believe in this cause. I believe in this cause. That's what Roz said to me. She said, Scott, if you're passionate about something, we share your passion because you're passionate about it. And that's the kind of champion that she is. And all the rest of these individuals on this board are. Every single one of you watching this right now, if you haven't donated, I don't doubt for a second that you believe. I don't doubt for a second that you care. I don't doubt for a second that you are not passionate about vintage sewing machines and about preserving history. So pause your life for a moment. Pause your life long enough to give Shelby a call at this number right here. Pause your life long enough to give this number a call. I can tell you, not from what people have told me, but from my personal experience, that Shelby from start to finish will have you on the phone and off the phone on an average of 2 to 3 minutes. And that's if you chit-chat a little bit and learn that Shelby originally is from Michigan. Shelby is a transplant to the great state of Indiana. And many of the other people at the History Museum as well maybe were not born and raised Hoosiers. And so as I shared with Shelby a little bit about the fact that my dad, and this weekend, this Super Bowl weekend, as many of you that follow me on Facebook know, is really a bittersweet weekend for me. I love the fact that these two teams are going to be meeting at the Super Bowl and that they're going to be down in the great state of Florida and that one of them is going to be crowned the champion. I think that's super cool. But this weekend, I'm also remembering that my dad passed away 4 years ago. And that's kind of hard. That's really kind of hard as I reflect on that as well. And many of you have lost parents as well. And I know that my dear, dear friend from Texas, Juliet, shared that she lost her dad right around in the same time frame. He was a Navy guy. She lost her dad right around in the same time frame that I lost my dad. So, you know what? As we remember the ones that we love, as we remember the ones that played such a significant role in molding us, they are, that one quote that I love quoting, yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery, but today is a gift, which is why they call it the present. That's worth quoting again. Yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery, but today is a gift, which is why we call it the present. You can give a gift. You could even, when you call Shelby, you could even say, you know what? I'm giving this because I believe I believe in preserving history. But I'm also doing it because my dad passed. My mom passed. My grandmother passed. And I'm doing it in their honor. Would you tell Scott that? So that when he announces me as a champion, he could also point that out as well. So, it's not just about the History Museum in South Bend, Indiana. We think about our history, our life, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our aunts, our uncles, our cousins, all the people that have touched our lives, all the people that have impacted our lives. You can use this as a moment to highlight that, to honor them, to preserve and to lift up their name as well. Because if you mention that to Shelby, she's going to mention that to me, and I'm going to mention it when I mention you as a new champion on this new board that's going to mark this second week of the fundraiser. Would you do that? You know what? Number one, I know you care. That's why you're watching this right now. You care about what I care about. We share that common ground. But beyond the donation that is going to benefit these great folks in South Bend, Indiana, and preserve and protect history, and marking you as a champion, marking you as a hero for history, you've got the opportunity as well to look at your history and say, who did I learn sewing from? Who impacted my life? Who can I make a legacy donation to so that Scott will mention it and lift their name up as a person of honor, as a person that is a champion in my life, a person that's a hero in my life because of the impact that they had on me. Maybe they led me to sewing. Maybe they impacted me. Maybe they influenced me. Maybe they inspired me to fall in love with things that are vintage, and it led me down a path to begin love sewing and begin to love vintage sewing machines. This is your opportunity also to highlight them. So give that number a call. It's so easy. 574-235-9664. It's so easy. I can tell you from personal experience. Sonny could tell you. Paula Noel could tell you. Emma B could tell you. Doc Roger could tell you. Brian could tell you. Emily and Veronica could tell you. Roz could tell you. Louie and Sandra could tell you. Gloria could tell you. Annette could tell you. Pamela Ann could tell you. All of the folks that have donated so far could tell you it's so simple. And if it matters, we're into a new tax year. It's tax deductible. If that doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. But maybe it matters, especially if you decide to donate a larger amount than $100. Maybe you'll be a legacy person that says, I'm going to give $200 or $300 or $500 or $1,000, whatever it is. You could decide to claim that as a tax deduction if you want to. These folks are a nonprofit, so you can certainly do that. And I'm just mentioning that because to some it makes a difference, to some it doesn't. But you've got an opportunity here to become a hero for history. Not only the history of vintage sewing machines, but your own history. So if you decide to make a donation and you've got a hero in your history that led you down the path of vintage sewing machines, that inspired you to sew, mention that to Shelby, and she will tell me, and I will be honored to mention that in the next premiere where we highlight our new champions, where we highlight our new heroes. Is that fair enough? Can you make this happen? I know you can. Pause your life for the 2 or 3 minutes to make a huge difference. And again, if you've got a hero or if you've got a legacy champion in your personal history that you want to highlight, a mom or dad, someone else in your life that really, really impacted your history, talk to Shelby about that and she'll pass it along to me. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. All right. Y'all know how I feel about dancing. Y'all know how I feel about parties. So let's end this with some great music. Again, please accept the challenge. I don't doubt your caring. I don't doubt your passion. I just know you're busy people. Please pause your life, especially if you're from one of those states that I called out and you're not up on this board yet or on the next board. Please do that. Show that you are a legacy person. All right? All right. Blah, blah, blah. Let's end with some fun music here. Let's end with some fun music. I'm looking for some fun music. Hold on a second. This one is called Shake. Yeah, let's shake it a little bit. Okay? Yeah. Champions. Join them. Heroes for history. Make that donation. Come on, y'all. I know you can do it. 5, 7, 4, 2, 3, 5, 9, 6, 6, 4. Boy, my voice is, I'm going through adolescence. My voice just cracked. Let me try that again. 5, 7, 4, 2, 3, 5, 9, 6, 4, 6, 4. Ooh! Chaka, boom, chaka. Those are my champions right there. Join them. Join the champions. Come on, y'all. I didn't expect that to end like that. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're done. Okay. Watch for more updates of champions. Many of you who are watching right now, I hope that you end up on that board because I want to celebrate with you what we're doing, the difference we're making. 574-235-9664. Thank you. Thank you for making a difference. God bless.